Earlier this week, Tasha posted asking for you to come up with some questions to ask us that we would answer in this video. These are the answers. Hi, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Tasha with One Big Happy Life, and we make videos about how to find balance, build wealth, and live happy. Everything that you need to create the life that you want. So if you are all about living life on your own terms, then we make videos just for you. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a single video.
Okay, so we asked for you to come up with some questions for us to answer in a video.
Ask us anything.
And we are excited. So we're going to answer some, and you're going to just get to know us even better.
So we have the list here. Alexis actually selected the ones that we're going to be answering. We don't know what they are or what the answers are. We have not gone over this. So we're just going to scroll through and we're going to answer them on the fly. So starting with Ariel Lauren 1 asks, what advice would you give a family with kids that's just starting out on their savings journey?
So I would say you definitely want to still start with an emergency fund. Well, no, I want to backtrack. I want to change my answer. No. So you want to get a month ahead on your bills first. And so, I mean, with kids and stuff, you've got more things to be worried about, and also more expenses that are going to come up. School supplies, like little camps, activity fees, all that kind of stuff is going to be popping up. And so you want to get that. Don't be paycheck to paycheck. You want to be a month ahead at very least.
And speaking of which, so Joseph mentioned like getting a month ahead, which is incredibly important, but those unexpected expenses that come up with kids are even more so why you should have a 1-year budget so that you can plan for those things that are coming up. Because they're like I like to call them the expected unexpected, because you know that at the beginning of the school year, you're going to be buying school supplies, you're going to be buying back to school clothes, all of that kind of stuff. So you can predict a lot of this stuff in advance, which is why we love having a 1-year spending plan so that those things aren't really catching you off guard. So if you don't have one, you can head on over to onebighappylife.com/budget and download your free budget template. But aside from that, the other thing that I would say is, well, join Wealth Builders Academy, right? Because we talk about how to structure your life and how to do that journey and balancing all those different financial goals. But no matter what, you really do need to start saving as soon as possible, because the longer you wait, the more you're going to have to save in order to have that nest egg that we all want to have. So know what your minimum savings rate is and get to that number as soon as possible. If it means growing your income, then that's what you need to do. But that's always been a focus of ours, even while we've been growing our family along the way, because there's no like financing retirement, not in any kind of way that you really want to do.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
All right, next question. Loving Life Forever 06 asked, you mentioned some family issues. Are things on the mend? That's going to be a question for me most likely, right? Do you have family issues?
Oh. I'm like with us? We don't have any family issues like between us.
No.
No, but yeah, no, that's got to be you. I don't know.
Yeah, so the answer, I would say no. I see some movements towards like, maybe, but basically, I don't know. I haven't made a video about exactly what happened, and I don't know that I ever really will. You guys will have to wait for the tell-all book for that one. But I just think like I've reached an age in my life where I've decided what I am and am not willing to accept in terms of how I expect to be treated. And so I'm just not going to compromise on that. And so if something changes on the other side that, will allow these other people to treat me, the way that I want to be treated, which is just with kindness, respect, and love, then, I definitely am open to that. But I have to protect my own kind of mental space, my own peace of mind, my children, my partner. And so to that end, right now, it's not really looking like it, but I'm always cautiously optimistic that things will get better in the future. Okay, next question. Rhea J. Do you think starting fresh in a cheaper state is a good idea?
Okay, so I absolutely think that moving clear across the country for the right reasons is a great idea, and a cheaper cost of living is like if your job is flexible where it can either go with you or you can easily find employment anywhere, that is a great thing to do, because if, paying more for the same stuff doesn't make any sense unless it's coming along with some other benefit. And so if there's no benefit for you in a higher cost of living area, absolutely move to a lower cost of living area.
And then the only thing I will add to that is that I cannot wait to move away from the DC area because of how expensive it is. We talk about it all the time. I cannot wait to move. So next question, Megan asks, how did you both know? This is a two-part question. That's cheap. It's like a two-part question. How did you know that it was time to leave your prior marriages? And two, how did you deal with the financial consequences of divorce? I really admire the way you've both built happier and richer lives post-divorce, and I'm curious about the journey to get there. So I've been wanting to do a video about this for a long time. Joseph has been more resistant about it than me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been taking the first shot at all the questions, so you can go first.
Okay, so how did you both know it was time to leave your prior marriages? Like, I can't answer that for you. You've got to answer that for yourself. So for me, I will say, so I started to get really frustrated. So before law school, my then husband was working full-time and I was working part-time and going to school full-time. So I was totally okay just kind of managing everything because I'm like, well, he's working full-time, so it's the least I could do. But then throughout law school, when I was supporting him, he's not working anymore, things really started to fall apart because he wasn't picking up the slack. And then after law school, well, I would come home and Alexis, after a full day of work, Alexis still needed help with her homework. The house still needed to be cleaned. All the dinner still needed to be cooked. The bills still needed to be paid. And he's at home, sitting on the couch playing video games when I come home. And I'm just like, you know what? I've had enough. So, it just took me a while to come to terms with the fact that he was who he was and he wasn't going to change. And I just decided I just didn't want to do it anymore.
So for me, we had not been together that long. But honestly, if I had been completely honest with myself from the get-go, then I would have said that there were problems before we got married, and so we should never have gotten married. But I went ahead and was like, no, I made this commitment. We're gonna do it. So then as years went on, I realized that we were not on the same page, wanting the same things out of life, wanting to work together on accomplishing goals. We were just completely different in what we wanted, and so because of that, it did not make any sense at that point to stay together.
So I guess our reasonings weren't too far off, right? There's some similarities there. So then the second part is, how do you deal with the financial consequences of a divorce? So let's just start with the divorce has already happened, right? Because figuring out who's taking what during a divorce is like a gigantic pain in the butt. Yeah.
Best of luck if you're going through that or have to go through that. But yeah, there's little advice anybody can say.
So then so Joseph and I both came into our relationship with a whole bunch of divorce debt. And so we just kind of sat down together and came up with a plan of attack to knock out those debts as quickly as possible. And it took us a couple of years, really, to pay everything off, right?
So really, paying off a divorce debt is no different than any other debt. We just made our plan, made the payments, and then took care of it. I think the one thing that is a little bit different, if the debt is attached to something that has some emotional value or baggage to it, the mortgage to your house, or some renovation that I had done to my house. Well, that's that's something that you did with this previous person that's no longer there and you're still paying for it. And you're like, well, I don't really like that. So there's a bit of that.
All right, next question. Last question, right? Let's see. Is it? No. Okay, two more. How did you manage law school and raising Alexis? What was the routine schedule for you and your husband at the time? So with law school, I just treated law school like a job. So I tried to schedule my classes between, 8 to 4 p.m. if at all possible. Sometimes I had evening classes, but so that way I would be home most of the time. And so I tried to get my studying done either during the day or after Alexis went to sleep. But I was very present in law school with Alexis. So yes, I studied a lot, and she'll probably tell you that I studied a lot. But also, I used as many shortcuts as I could. So like looking at legal lines and examples and explanations. Like I stayed in those treatise type books that would just summarize the case law for me, so I didn't have to spend too many hours trying to decipher something that someone else just already wrote in a book in a summary for me. So I just focused on working smarter, not harder. And frankly, I didn't have to worry about grades because, well, I went to Yale. So they didn't have grades. So all I had to do was worry about passing, right? So that's what I did. I did enough work to make sure that I would pass, and that's it. I know that's not helpful,
yeah,
but
well, yeah, and of course I don't have anything to add other than I do like the story about, you know, you working really hard to also get Alexis into a good school and be in a good neighborhood. And I think so that level of effort also helped craft what you were able to do while you were there.
Yeah, that's true. I spent a lot of time thinking about where we would live, what school Alexis would go to. So we lived in an area where I could Yale has like a bus. So I would take the bus to school, but first I could walk Alexis to school. Then I would hop on the bus and take the bus to school. I could even walk back home if I needed to. So I definitely went out of my way to structure my personal life in a way that made sense so that I could succeed and spend as much time at the law school as possible. But even having said that, I definitely missed out on a lot of the social aspects of law school and the extracurriculars that I could have done if I didn't have a family. So there's, it's just never going to be the same if you have a child. But I definitely don't think that it's nearly as hard as people think it is. It's just a matter of just being a little bit more efficient with your time.
Okay, next.
All right. So the last full question, and then we have some rapid fire questions that Alexis picked out. What made you the happiest when you spent money on it? Vacations, renovations, or debt payoff?
Okay, so debt payoff, absolutely, like, that's not it for me.
Not it for me either.
Only between vacations and renovations. So I really like not worrying about the house things. And so when we've gotten the roof and the gutters, like the windows done, the AC.
Our house actually looks nice on the outside now compared to when we bought it. That's really nice.
Yeah, so I do like that, but truly though, like a great vacation, and I'm probably gonna steal Tasha's, but like us going to Singapore was just so amazing, and that vacation just came together so well, and it was such a unique experience that like we are just dying to do the exact same thing again because it was just so good and we had so much fun there. So I think hands down, it is great to spend money on a good vacation.
Okay, so I can't even choose because definitely not debt payoff. Debt payoff it's not appealing or fun to me. I don't get any joy from it. What I do get joy from is having extra money after the debt is gone to then apply to other things that I want to do. But one of the things that makes us different about how we look at debt is a lot of people resent their debt and see it as something that's limiting them. But we look at our debt as something that facilitated something else in our lives, right? So paying off debt, yes, it is restrictive in that I would love to spend money on different things, but I also appreciate what the debt brought into my life, whatever it was, whether it was eating out or too much shopping, like I have those things, right? So it's still not debt payoff. But unlike Joe, so I love our house. So when I walk into the rooms of our house where we have made like changes and improved those rooms, it brings me so much joy. Remembering our vacations, planning our next vacations also bring me joy. And the other thing that's not here, this is the wild card that I'm just throwing in.
Wait, are you gonna decide?
Just all three. My third thing, it's a trifecta. I can't have one without the other, is our nest egg. Watching our nest egg grow because we have committed to our savings rate, and hitting our minimum savings rate every single month. And so now we are on the, not even too far away. Next year we'll be at $500,000. That's going to be the size of our nest egg market hold. Mm-hmm. And that just feels incredible, just knowing that we've already put aside enough money that I don't have to worry about my retirement. I just have to limp my way there and I'm going to be fine. That brings me such joy and peace of mind. I don't care about the debt, but it helps me enjoy my vacations and my renovations even more. Okay. Oh, rapid fire. Yeah, okay, this is going so long. Okay, here we go. Would you start a podcast?
Yes.
Yes, I want to. Give us a good name. Give us podcast names down in the description box. Number 2, what's the puppy's name?
Sophie.
Number 3, have you ever taken your family to Guyana? No. Number 4, how long were you guys together before you got married?
Trick question. We're not married.
Number 5, how'd you get started budgeting?
Met the woman of my dreams.
That's true. He didn't budget before he met me. Number 6, how often do you compliment each other? Every day, all the time. Number 7, would you consider adoption? Yes.
Sure.
Number 8, do you speak a different language? Not really, which makes me sad.
No. That was in Spanish.
All right, so that's it for the FAQs. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's probably hella long, but it was a lot of fun answering your Qs. And we're going to be doing more of these. The goal is to try to do at least one a month, maybe have some themes. Next time will really be a couple theme, and the time after that, definitely want to do one about starting a business. So if you're not following us on Instagram, definitely do that because we post the ask us your question things lots of times in the Instagram stories or over on the YouTube community tab.
All right, see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.